Hello and welcome to this lecture, and in this lecture we are going to discuss about getting a job as an Android developer. So once you have completed this course, obviously you cannot directly go ahead and apply for jobs. You do need to do a lot of practice and get confident about all the Android concepts, and you should be confident enough to say that you will be able to make a good quality Android application on your own. So without wasting any time, let's discuss about the different alternatives which are available for you as an Android developer. So these are the most common alternatives which you could go for. Number one is you could be an independent developer. Number two is you could be a freelance Android developer. Number three is that you could be an Android developer at an organization. So let's discuss a little bit about the first one, which is being an independent Android developer. So the independent Android developer and freelance Android developer are a little bit same or are on the same line, but there is a subtle difference between the two. So as an independent developer, you would be making or working for your own. So you are going to basically go ahead, design your own apps right from the idea and implementation as well. So there are actually three options in which you could get paid by being an independent developer. So once you have made your application, you could launch your application as either paid app. So you could have a paid version of your app on the Play Store, which the users will buy. But this approach is slightly difficult because it's obviously a little bit harder for you to sell paid apps to users. The next option is you could go ahead and go with free applications with advertisements. So essentially you launch an application on Play Store which is going to be free of cost, and you basically go ahead and monetize it with advertisements. The next thing which you could do with your application is that you could have in-app purchases. That means you actually launch your application as a free one, but you have some in-app purchases. So let's say if you are designing some kind of application which needs certain points to function, so you could go ahead and sell those points inside your application. So that is what the in-app purchase actually means. So these are the few options which are available to you as an independent developer, and there might be other options as well, but these are the most common options for you as an independent developer. Now let's move on to the freelance developer job. So basically as a freelance developer, you will be working independently for others. So others are going to bring their ideas to you, and you're actually going to make their idea into an application. So sites like Upwork are actually good for beginners to get projects. So if you're a beginner and you want to look for Android projects, you could simply go on upwork.com, make a profile over there, and there are going to be a ton of projects depending upon your budget. You could select any project, and depending upon your complexity, if you could actually take on the project, you could bid on any project, complete the project, and the client is basically going to pay for you. Also, you could take up local projects from small businesses, and this is what I have done in the initial phases of my career. That is, I have helped many small businesses expand their business by making them applications so that their users actually use their app, and both the parties get benefited from the application. So I actually used to charge them a certain amount of money for making those apps, and they would happily pay me for it because those apps actually helped them grow their businesses. The next option is that you could partner up with businesses on a profit sharing basis. So let's say you're having a local shop in your locality, and that actually sells, let's assume it sells certain kind of items. So what you could do there is that you could go ahead and ask for a partnership with the business owner that I'm going to actually make an online application to sell your stuff, and on each sale you get about 10 to 20% of commissions. So doing that, what you actually need to do is that you need to make an application for them free of cost, and then you are going to charge them 10 to 20% of amount of each and every sale which you are going to make from your application. So you could go creative and you could create multiple options here while working as a freelance developer, or you could also do all the things all at the same time, whichever works best for you and whichever works best in your country. Okay, the next most common way of getting a job as an Android developer is by working as an Android developer in an organization. So even before you start applying to organizations, you need to do a few things. That is, first you need to build up your portfolio. So once you have completed this course, you could go ahead, start building your own applications, and you could start uploading them to Play Store to get certain amount of feedback from the users, so that you actually understand where your application, where your coding skills actually lag. So you are obviously going to have a lot of bugs in your application, which you need to repair to make your application usable for the end users. So building a portfolio also has that advantage. Plus, it's a big advantage if you have a certain number of Android apps developed in your portfolio when you apply for jobs, because that's what the potential employer is going to look at. He's actually going to go ahead and look at your portfolio items, what kind of apps you have developed, the complexity level of your application which you have developed, and everything like that. So that actually is a very good way to get a job at any organization. Also, I would recommend to apply for entry-level jobs first to gain experience, because as you are applying as a fresher, it's obviously going to be a little bit difficult for you to get a job as an Android developer. So always look for entry-level Android developer jobs rather than applying for some senior level position. And the final thing is that you could use job portal sites, or you could also get referrals from your friends who are already working in some kind of organization. So you could go ahead, contact them and ask if there are any positions in their organization for an Android developer. So these were some basic options which I have told you guys, and all of them are actually good if you're looking for a job as an Android developer. So thank you very much for watching, and hopefully you enjoyed it. Thank you.